Gideon, the hero who doubted God. After the great victory of Deborah and Barak over Sisera's army, Israel experienced 40 years of peace. However, after Deborah's death, the Israelites once again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. God then handed Israel over to the Midianites for 7 years. The Midianites, along with the Amalekites and other eastern peoples, devastated Israel's crops, leaving the people without sustenance. It was a time of great oppression, where the Israelites hid in caves and strongholds in the mountains. In this context of despair, Gideon, son of Joash from the tribe of Manasseh, emerges. He was threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites when the angel of the Lord appeared to him, saying, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Doubtful, Gideon asked, "If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about?" The angel responded, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" Despite the angel's words, Gideon was still full of doubts. He asked for a sign. He placed a fleece of wool on the ground and asked that if God was truly with him, only the fleece would be wet with dew and the ground around it dry. God granted his request. The following night, Gideon asked for the opposite, that the fleece would remain dry and the ground around it wet. And so it happened, confirming the divine call. God instructed Gideon to tear down the altar of Baal that his father had and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Gideon, afraid to do it by day, carried out the task at night. The next morning, the town was furious and wanted to kill him, but Joash defended his son, saying, "If Baal really is a god, he can defend himself when someone breaks down his altar." Gathering an army of 32,000 men, Gideon prepared to face the Midianites. God, however, said that there were too many soldiers, as Israel might boast that they saved themselves by their own strength. Gideon then proclaimed that all who were fearful and trembling could go home, and 22,000 men left. 10,000 remained. Still, God said there were too many, and instructed Gideon to take the men to the river. Those who lapped the water with their tongues as a dog laps were separated from those who knelt down to drink. Only 300 men lapped like dogs, and with these men God promised to deliver the Midianites into Gideon's hands. That night, God told Gideon to go down to the Midianite camp, where he heard a soldier recounting a dream in which a loaf of barley bread tumbled into the Midianite camp and struck it. The soldier's companion interpreted the dream as the sword of Gideon. Encouraged, Gideon divided his 300 men into 3 companies, gave them trumpets and jars with torches inside. They attacked at night, blowing the trumpets, breaking the jars, and shouting, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!" Confusion filled the Midianite camp, and the enemy soldiers turned on each other. Israel pursued the enemies, and the Midianite leaders, Oreb and Zeb, were captured and killed. Gideon refused to be made king, asserting that the Lord would rule over Israel. However, he requested the gold from the war spoils and made an ephod, which became a snare to him and his family. Gideon judged Israel for 40 years, bringing peace to the land. After his death, the Israelites again strayed, worshipping Baal-Berith and forgetting the Lord and Gideon, who had delivered them.